She ruined my son's life. I hit her twice. Do you think it can make up for my son's lifelong happiness? The women in the entire cell were stunned. No one thought that Elaine had done such a shameless thing back then. What do women hate most? The cheating man and the mistress. Therefore, Mrs. Wilson's words successfully aroused everyone's hatred of Elaine again. So many people scolded. This stinky, shameless woman dares to do such shameless things at a young age. Damn it. That's it. How can a serious woman insist on getting on her body when a man is drunk? Isn't this just a slut? It's damn disgusting. It's nothing more than a third party intervenes. The key is to use such abusive methods. Seeing that she had successfully helped Elaine a wave of hatred, old Mrs. Wilson was relieved in her heart, but she couldn't help but think to herself, Elaine, damn thing, at this time, she still wants to instigate discord and want to come back? Okay, then I will drive you into the abyss. As a result, she also shed 2 lines of tears, and angrily complained, you don't know the most disgusting thing. This sorrowful woman, and my son's girlfriend at the time, were still roommates in the same dormitory back then, best friends and good friends. As a result, this sorrowful woman turned her head to do such a shameless thing. She slept with her good girlfriend's boyfriend. She not only robbed her good girlfriend's boyfriend, but also forced her good girlfriend to go to the United States. I heard that she has not returned to China for more than 20 years. This is all thanks to this woman. Mrs. Wilson's words successfully made the little pity that everyone had just established instantly turn to ashes. It was replaced by a total hatred of Elaine. Elaine was so nervous that she almost collapsed. She didn't expect that the Lady Wilson would move out of Mei Qing's affairs and turn into ashes the little mass foundation she had just established. What Elaine did to Mei Qing and Jacob, their sweet lovers, was an extreme evil that all women disdain. Therefore, everyone's sympathy for her disappeared in an instant. Not only that, everyone's hatred for her is even stronger. One of the women jumped down from the upper bunk and came to Elaine in 3 or 2 steps, picked up her plastic slippers, and slammed Elaine's face fiercely. I beat you to death. You shameless thing. My husband was hooked up by a slutty woman like you. A group of women immediately screamed, and someone shouted, good fight, kill this shameless slut. At this time, Elaine was beaten and yelled, but 2 more women rushed towards her quickly, kicked her one by one, and then punched and kicked her. Old Mrs. Wilson looked at all this coldly, and sneered in her heart. Elaine, you still want to fight with me based on your little weight, it's just looking for death. Elaine never dreamed that after more than 20 years, she would still get such a fat beating because of Mei Qing's incident. She was looking at herself and was about to persuade Jenna, but she didn't expect that after Mrs. Wilson moved out of this matter, she would directly subvert all her efforts, and instead plunge her into an endless abyss. The few women who came up to beat her up had all experienced the tragic past of being meddled by women, so when they hit her, they brought all their new and old hatreds into it, and they didn't show any mercy at all. Elaine was beaten again quickly, and her whole body was almost dying. Several times Elaine felt that she was going to be in shock, but before she was really shocked, she was woken up twice by others. After a group of people beat Elaine, the old Mrs. Wilson said to the side, I think we'd better get this sorrowful woman to the toilet, so that she won't make us upset here. Yes. The woman who rushed up to start her hands coldly said, the Lady Wilson is right. Throw her into the toilet. With that said, she greeted another woman next to her and said, we are both hold a leg, and we will drag her in. Okay. The other party immediately nodded and agreed, so the 2 of them pulled Elaine's leg and dragged her from the ground to the toilet. Wendy also hurriedly followed. Seeing that the 2 women threw Elaine into the toilet, she took out the washbasin and took a basin of water and poured it directly on her body. She sneered and said, Elaine, you never dreamed. Do you think you will have today? Just rely on you, still want to fight with Grandma? Elaine was awakened by the cold water, shaking violently and regretting in her heart. She shouldn't say those things in front of Jenna, trying to arouse Gina's sympathy. If she didn't accuse Mrs. Wilson of what happened just now, she wouldn't end up like this. What she regrets more is that she shouldn't have stolen the bank card of her son-in-law Charlie, and never dreamed that Charlie turned out to be a transnational liar. If she didn't steal his bank card, he would be the one who would come in and suffer this time sooner or later, but because she couldn't control her hands, she was here now, suffering this inhuman torture. Her intestines are already regretful. That night, Elaine sat in the corner of the toilet holding her legs and struggled till dawn. In the evening, Elaine had already developed a high fever, which made her bewildered. More importantly, she hasn't eaten anything for nearly 48 hours. When everyone else started to wash in the toilet in the morning, Elaine was so weak that she didn't even have the strength to lift her eyelids.